Cameron Sports Podcast. It's your host here, Cameron Lindsay, back with another episode. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the start of the 2024-25 NBA season. I got some key notes, mainly about AD. Also making my college football Week 10 predictions. I got three big games that I want to talk about the most. And I'm going to be giving my Week 9 NFL predictions. So yeah, let's get right into today's episode. So if you watched my last episode 64, gave my predictions for the 2024-25 NBA season. Talk about, a couple predictions, NBA champion. I did talk about my Lakers. I predicted my Lakers to win the NBA championship. But mainly, if AD is healthy and he dominates. And so far through 4 or 5 games, AD has been very, very dominant. These 4 games, AD became the 4th Laker ever to start the season with 3 30-point games. Back-to-back 35-point games in the first 2 games since Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Kobe Bryant. Again, AD became the 4th Laker ever to have back-to-back 35-point games since Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Kobe Bryant. In the first game against the Timberwolves, AD had 36 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. In the second game against the Suns, he had 35 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and a couple steals. And in the third game, he had 31 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. And then the game against the Suns a couple days ago, he had 29 points, 16 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 steals. So AD has been very, very dominant throughout 4 games. And I've been telling people, when AD is healthy, he is a top 5 player. He's top 10. Like I said, if you watch my last episode, I got AD ranked as 9th. He's a top 10 player automatically. Because he's this is my opinion, but I got the stats to back it up. When he's healthy, AD is the best two-way player in the league by far. By far. If the season was to end today, I know it's 82 games and not 4 games, but AD would be MVP and he would be Defensive Player of the Year. He should have been last year. Even Shannon Sharp said it on First Take. AD should have been Defensive Player of the Year last year. Look at what he did to Rudy Gobert in the first game in the season. Again, he had 35 points, 36 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks against Rudy Gobert, who was Defensive Player of the Year last season. So, yeah, but AD is very, very dominant. I'm not saying he's going to continue to average 30-plus. As long as he averages, if AD can average 27, 12, 2.5 blocks, that's fine with me. But he's been very, very dominant. This is the AD I love to see. Aggressive. It's not like he can't do it. And I love the way JJ Redick is flowing the offense through AD. AD is a key. You got to get AD some touches. Even if he miss. Even AD, if AD goes 0 for 8 in the first quarter, I can live with that because he's being aggressive. He's getting the shots. So I feel like the only way for us to win is to go through AD. Like I said, we got to give AD that torch. AD got to take that torch from LeBron because LeBron is getting older. But if we run the offense through AD, we're going to be fine. And, yeah, I love the way my Lakers are playing. I love the way AD is playing. He's looking like an MVP candidate, as he should. He's looking like Defensive Player of the Year, as he should. Because in my opinion, he's the best two-way player in the league. If you watch my last episode last week, the stats that I read, you'll see why I believe AD. And plus, another reason, like I said, AD was the only player last season to make an all-NBA team and all-defensive team. Nobody else was on both. An all-NBA team and an all-defensive team. He was second team all-NBA last year and first team all-defense. Nobody did that but AD. Clearly the best. And I don't know how he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. I just don't know how. But, yeah, and like I said, I'm excited for this NBA season. I'm definitely going to go to a game or two to the Atlanta Hawks. I wish I could go to the Lakers-Hawks games, but that's another I'll say that for another day, talk about that. But, yeah, that's just something I want to talk about. Like I said, AD became the 4th Laker ever to have back-to-back 35-point games in the first 2 games since Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Kobe. Like I said, he had 30-point game against the Timberwolves, 36, 16, and 4. He had a 35, 8, and 4 with 2 blocks against the Suns, and 31, 9, and 2 with 3 steals and 2 blocks. Like I said, AD has been very, very dominant, and also that loss against the Suns, he had 29, 16, and 3 blocks. So AD has been very, very dominant. Next up, let's talk about some college football week 10. We got a couple games, 3 games. First up, number 4 Ohio State, 6-1, going on the road to take on number 3 Penn State, 7-0. Now, even though I do work this weekend in my job, like I said, I will be able to catch the second half of this game by the time I get off work. But I think this is going to be a very good game. I wish it was a night game because, Ohio State usually plays Penn State. If they play Penn State on the road, it's usually a night game. But, Penn State has been looking pretty good. Drew Aller, that run game. James Franklin, he's an amazing head coach. You got Ohio State, Will Howard, Jeremiah, the freshman sensation, 5-star receiver, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Ibuka, Cardell Tate, Quinshon Judkins, Trevion Henderson, those 2 elite running backs. So this is going to be a great game. Like I said, I think it's going to be low scoring. Probably like 20, I could see 24-21, 24-20, something like that. But I'm going to go Ohio State. I just think Ryan Day, is the better coach. I think Ohio State has the more deeper roster than Penn State. And with the weapons that Ohio State got, I trust Will Howard more than I do Drew Aller, especially with Jeremiah Smith, who's obviously the Ohio State's number 1 receiver as a freshman right now. He has scored a touchdown in every game Ohio State has played in this season. So I think with him, Emeka Ibuka, Cardell Tate, Quinshon Judkins, Trevion Henderson, I think Ohio State will be able to edge out Penn State. Now, like I said, I still got Penn State making the college football playoff. But I think Ohio State wins this game in a close one. But now, would it shock me if Penn State wins this game? No, because like I said, Drew Aller's a good player. Their 2 running backs are elite. I forgot their names, number 10, number 13. They're elite. You got James Franklin. It's at Penn State. But I think it's going to be a close game, low scoring. But I'm going to go Ohio State to edge out Penn State. Next up, we got number 1 Oregon, 8-0, taking on Michigan, 5-3. Now, if Michigan was better, this game would be have a little bit more hype to it. But I think it's still a very interesting game to talk about, mainly because, like I said, Oregon going on the road to Michigan. This is the first time Oregon will play Michigan, I don't know since when. But you got Dylan Gabriel, who's a Heisman Trophy candidate. You got that amazing run game with Oregon with Jordan James. You got that passing attack with, Tez Johnson and Stewart. So, but, Michigan with their quarterback situation, I think one of their quarterbacks, I forgot his name, he just retired. Jerome Moore, first-year head coach. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Like I said, Michigan did beat USC, a former Pac-12 team, and now Oregon, first year in the Big Ten, is undefeated. They beat Ohio State a couple weeks ago, but this is on the road. This is not at home. So I'm going to go Oregon at least by 10. I think Michigan might keep it a little close, just for a little bit, maybe at least to the second half. I think Oregon wins this game. I think too much firepower for the Ducks with Dylan Gabriel, the way he's playing, Heisman Trophy candidate, the way that Oregon runs the ball with Jordan James. The Oregon defense is pretty good with sophomore Ungale, the pass rusher, DJ Ungale's younger brother. So I just think Oregon has too much firepower. Really, I think it's most likely going to be a blowout, but I will respect Michigan a little bit and say Oregon wins by at least 10. And next up, lastly, we got Florida 4-3 taking on number 2 Georgia 6-1. Like I said, Georgia has bounced back since losing to Alabama. They look pretty good. But a dominating win over Texas a couple weeks ago. Not a couple weeks ago. Was it last week? I think so. Did Texas play? No, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago when Georgia played Texas. Now, these are 2 rivals. Like I said, it's been reported that this game will not be in Jacksonville. It'll be in Atlanta this weekend due to the weather, the hurricane that happened. So this game will be in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Still a neutral site game. Now, Florida, they will be starting DJ Lagway, the 5-star freshman quarterback, the number 1 recruit number one overall quarterback from the 2024 class. I like DJ Uiagalelei. I'm not Uiagalelei. DJ Lagway. I like him. He's a very good player. Really could throw the ball. I think he has a bright future at Florida. I just think they got the wrong coach with Billy Napier. I just think if Florida does not make a bowl game this year, I think he probably will lose his job. I just think they need the right coach. They do got the talent. They got the talent. Florida does have the talent, especially with DJ at quarterback. I just don't think they have the right coach, and I just don't think they're ready right now. But Georgia, like I said, I may not be in love with Carson Beck, but I think he is a good quarterback. I just don't think he's a bona fide top 10 pick in the 2025 NFL draft. I'm just not in love with him like some NFL draft analysts are. But I think Georgia has bounced back. I think their defense is looking good. They can run the ball with Trevor Etienne. You got Carson Beck. Mikael Williams, the pass rusher. Starks at safety. You also got KJ Bolden, a 5-star freshman safety. So they got a lot of good players on that defense. I think Georgia wins this game big. Actually, I think it's going to be too much for DJ Lagway. But, again, he has a bright future. So if you're a Florida fan, don't feel bad. If you get blown out this weekend, look forward to the future. And you can still possibly make a bowl game. You're 2 wins away. It just won't be this week that you get closer to bowl eligibility. But I say Florida's got a better record than I thought. I thought by now Florida may only have about maybe 2 wins. But they beat Kentucky last week. They beat UCF early on in the season. So, yeah. But lastly, now let's get into these Week 9 predictions for the NFL season, 2024 NFL season. First game up, we got the Texans 6-2 taking on the Jets 2-6. This is a Thursday night game, August 31st, 8:15, Halloween night. Like I said, I will start with the Texans. You know, it's been reported yesterday, wide receiver Stephon Diggs tore his ACL. He'll be out for the season. I hate to see that because the Texans are already a little bit depleted at wide receiver because Nico Collins has been out due to injury. So really all they got is Tank Dell. So that's going to hurt C.J. Stroud a little bit. But I think they might be okay. You know, they still got some weapons. But with Stephon being out and you already got Nico Collins out, that's a big blow. So, and then the Jets, I don't know what's going on with the Jets. I thought, like, you beating the Patriots, like, there's no way you should lose to the Patriots. You got Devontae Adams now. You got Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, even though they might trade him, hopefully back to my Chargers. You got Breece Hall. You got that amazing defense. Like, I don't know what's going on with the Jets. At this point, it may be a failure. I can honestly say I don't think Aaron Rodgers may be in New York next year. Maybe. But I'm going to Texans regardless. I just don't. After losing to the Patriots on the road, I just don't trust them. I think even without Stephon Diggs, I think C.J. Stroud will be able to have a good, decent game. Run the ball with Joe Mixon. That defense with Will Anderson. I trust the Texans way more than I do the Jets. And I think they'll lose this game. I got the Texans over the Jets. Next up, I got my Chargers 4-3 taking on the Browns 2-6. My Chargers coming off a dominating win at home over the Saints last week. The Browns coming off a close win at home against the Ravens. Now, of course, Deshaun Watson is gone due to injury for the season. Hate to see that, you know, especially the Browns fans who booed him. Now, I know whatever going on with Deshaun, that's, you know, still, but you don't want to wish injury on a player. And I know he was playing like a tomato can. And, yeah, I do think the Browns should move off of him during the offseason. But Jameis Winston played pretty well against the Ravens defense. And I know the Ravens defense this year is really not all that elite, to be honest. But he won the game, so, yeah. And I don't think this will be an easy win. This is at Cleveland. The Browns got Nick Chubb back. They still got David Njoku. They got Jerry Jeudy. I know they charted Amari Cooper. So I think this will be a pretty close game. And the Browns still got a good defense with Myles Garrett. So, you know, I still got to worry about him. You still got Denzel Ward. I still got to worry about him. So, you know, but the way my Chargers been playing, besides the game in Arizona, they've been playing pretty good. Justin Herbert looked very good last week against the Saints. Ladd McConkey had like 8 catches for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's looking like our number one receiver. When we drafted him out of Georgia in the second round, I was like, okay, I could live with that because Ladd McConkey got 4.3 speed. even though at Georgia he didn't flash like put up the big numbers, but Georgia's a run the ball first team. That's who Georgia is. But now I think in the NFL he's able to shine more. I think right now he's looking like our number one receiver. I still think we do need more help at the receiver position. Hopefully at trade deadline or the draft, the offseason, we get more receivers. But I'm liking Ladd McConkey. I really do. So us obviously with the better quarterback than Justin Herbert, who's a top 10 quarterback. If we can be able to run the ball with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, protect Justin Herbert, play good defense, I think this would be a good low-scoring game. I think we beat the Browns 20 to 13. I'm going to say 20 to 13. My Chargers get the win over Cleveland and improve to 5-3. Next up, we got the Dolphins versus the Bills. Dolphins 2-5, Bills 6-2. Sunday game, 1 p.m. Also, I'm going with the Bills. Even with Tua Tagovailoa back, they lost the game at home against the Cardinals. Excuse me. Josh Allen is looking very, very good. Amari Cooper looks pretty good, getting traded from Cleveland to Buffalo. I just think, especially with the Bills already beating the Dolphins earlier on in the season badly, I think this would be another blowout. I just don't trust that Dolphins defense. This year, I don't know what's going on. Tyreek Hill, Jaden Waddle, that quarterback situation, Dolphins are just not looking good at all. I think this is going to be a very bad year for them. I'm going Bills big over Miami. Next, we got the Broncos 5-3 over the Ravens versus the Ravens 5-3. This could be an interesting game because Bo Nix has been playing very well. That Denver defense has been looking good. I don't know if Patrick Surtain's going to play. Hopefully he's healthy. I think he will. But I think this could be a pretty decent good game. That Broncos team is not to be slept on, especially Bo Nix. He's been playing pretty good football. But I'm going to go Ravens because mainly, you got the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson, who looked like he might win his third MVP this year. Even though the Ravens defense is questionable, that's another reason why I think this would be a close game because I don't really fully trust the Ravens defense. But I'm going with Lamar running the ball with Derrick Henry. Lamar and Derrick Henry would be the key factor in this game. Lamar's legs and Derrick Henry running the ball. You can't not give Derrick Henry only 11 carries. You got to feed him the ball, get him almost 20 plus carries to win this game. But yeah, I got the Ravens. Next up, I got the Saints 2-6 versus the Panthers 1-7. Not gonna waste some time in this game. I was struggling to see who I would think win this because these are two teams that are very bad. But I'm gonna go Saints slightly. I know their quarterback situation is questionable, but I think the Saints got more talent with Alvin Kamara. I don't think Rashid Shaheed's gonna play, but you still got Chris Olave. Panthers, even though Bryce Young will be starting, so I don't know how much I can trust that Panthers offense or their defense at all. So I think it'll be a close game. I'm going Saints slightly over the Panthers. Next up, we got the Raiders 2-6 versus the Bengals 3-5. Both these teams are looking very bad. Raiders coming off a loss against Kansas City. Bengals coming off a blowout loss at home against the Eagles. I'm gonna go Bengals in a close one. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Bengals this year. You got Joe Burrow, who's healthy. You got Jamar Chase. T. Higgins has been banged up a little bit. But the main reason is because I think that Bengals defense is not really good. Besides Trey Henderson, I don't think they really have nobody on that defense. So I just don't love the Bengals defense. Also you lost Joe Mixon. You traded him away to Houston. I think that Bengals offensive line is not that good really. But I just don't think the Bengals have enough to possibly make the playoffs. If they do make the playoffs, it'd be like a 7th seed. But I just don't see it. It wouldn't shock me if they lose this game to the Raiders. I don't know how they will be able to lose it to the Raiders, but I'm going Bengals over the Raiders. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. There's no way they should lose this game to the Raiders, who don't even know who their quarterback is. They don't have Devontae Adams. They only Max Crosby is not going to be playing, so. Yeah. Next up, got the Commanders 6-2 versus Giants 2-5. Commanders coming off a very good win over the Chicago Bears with a last-second Hail Mary throw by Jaden Daniels. The Commanders I'll give the Commanders, they're looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I did not see this coming from the Commanders at all. I thought they would struggle. I thought Jaden Daniels, typical rookie season. Like he may play good, but the Commanders as a team won't be that good. Dan Quinn got them playing very good on defense. I think this could possibly be a playoff team. I don't know. The Commanders and the Eagles, it may come down to who wins the division between these two because the Giants are bad, the Cowboys are inconsistent. Yeah, I'm going Commanders big over the Giants. I trust Jaden Daniels a whole lot more than I do Daniel Jones, and I'm not even going to get into that. Next up, we got the Cowboys 3-4 versus the Falcons 5-3. Cowboys coming off another loss to on the road against the 49ers. That's not shocking. And the Falcons coming off a win on the road against their rival, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This one, I thought about for a little bit. Cowboys sometimes can get a good win, but I'm going to Atlanta. Mainly, I think, even though Dak has usually when he goes against Kirk Cousins, he wins. When Kirk Cousins was with Minnesota, when he was with Washington, Dak got the better of Kirk. But I think this time, Kirk gets the win over Dak. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, the running game, Algier and oh my goodness, shit. Sorry, y'all. I know his name. The running game basically. But I just trust the Falcons way more than do the Cowboys. A whole lot more. Cowboys have no running game at all. Like I said, Zeke is way past his prime. Their offensive line is not good. Their defense is not good. Even when Michael Parsons was there, it still wasn't good. Their secondary is bad. So I just don't trust. I don't trust. Dak keep throwing interceptions, and the Falcons have a pretty decent defense, especially a secondary with Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons and AJ Terrell. So this Falcons secondary is underrated. I think the Falcons win in a close one over the Cowboys. I think it could be a close game, but I'm going Atlanta to get the win over Dallas. Next up, got the Patriots 2-6 versus the Titans 1-6. Not going to wait too much time. I'm going to go with the Patriots. This was a struggle because these are two bad teams, but I trust Jacoby Brissett way more than I do Will Levis for the Titans. Titans come off a blowout loss on the road against Detroit. The Patriots coming off a win at home against the Jets. I think mainly the Patriots win this game mainly due to their defense. With players like Christian Gonzalez, second-year player out of Oregon, I think the Patriots get the win slightly over the Titans because I just don't trust Will Levis. I don't trust their running game with Tony Pollard. I try to tell one of my Facebook friends who's a Titan fan, talking about they're better off without Derrick Henry. No, you're not. Derrick Henry was your offense. Your problem was y'all didn't have a true quarterback or any receivers. Once y'all let go of traded AJ Brown to the Philly, which was stupid. But yeah, Tony Pollard's not a number one running back. He's a good running back. He's like a lightning. You need a thunder. You need a good thunder to go with Tony Pollard's lightning. That's why he was pretty good in Dallas when he had Zeke. Like Zeke take the punishment, then Tony can come in and just break off for like 50, 60 yards. But yeah, I'm going Patriots mainly due to their defense, and I trust Jacoby Brissett more than I do Will Levis. Next up, we got the Bears 4-3 against the Cardinals 4-4. Bears coming off a last-second loss against the Commanders due to a Hail Mary throw by Jaden Daniels. Cardinals coming off a shocking win on the road against Miami. This one I thought about a little bit. Like I said, you got Caleb Williams playing pretty good. You got Keenan Allen. You got Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. Cardinals, Kyler Murray have been playing pretty decently this year. The Cardinals are a little bit better than I thought. I think they got a legit. Even the way the 49ers are playing, the Cardinals got a legit shot to win the NFC West. Like I'm being for real. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is looking good. I think he's slowly coming into that number one receiver role for the Arizona because he's looking very, very good. He had over 100 yards against Miami. But I'm going to Cardinals over the Bears. Like I said, if this was in Chicago, maybe I'll lean that way. But I'm going to the Cardinals to win this game over the Bears. Next up, we got the Jaguars 2-6 versus the Eagles 5-2. I'm going to Eagles. Mainly, like I said, I think they start to look a little bit better. The defense, especially the Kobe Dean linebacker, third-year linebacker out of Georgia, he's looking really, really good. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and them boys. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, they are starting to look very, very good. Like I said, young players out of Georgia. Kobe Dean, who the Eagles should have been starting. He's starting at nickel or safety, but he's looking good. Quinyon Mitchell, the other rookie corner, who they drafted in the first round in this year's draft, he's looking very, very good. So this Eagles defense has a lot of potential. They just got to be more consistent. Like I said, I was watching Pick Side's podcast, and one of them said, the Eagles have a legit shot to be a true contender in the NFC. And I think so as well. As long as their defense is consistent and Jalen Hurts does not turn the football over. Like I said, I don't think he's going to get back to that Super Bowl caliber year, MVP year that he had, that he could have won it if he stayed healthy. But I think Jalen Hurts can be good. Like, he could be a decent, good quarterback. He don't have to be elite, just good. Just don't turn the football over. I think the Eagles will be fine because your defense is kind of questionable, especially the secondary. But I got the Eagles win this game. I don't trust Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence has not been consistent or good all year. That team as a whole, they just also lost Christian Kirk for the year. He's going to be out for the year, so he's one of their top receivers. But I'm going Eagles over Jacksonville. Next up, we got the Lions 6-1 versus the Packers 6-2. This is going to be a close game. I think, like I said, this is going to be America's game in the week. I went back and forth with this. I'm like, Packers, Lions, this is a rivalry. But I'm going the Lions. I just trust Jared Goff more than I do Jordan Love. I'm sorry. Especially with Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams is having a breakout year. I just trust the Lions a little bit more than I do Jordan Love. Especially the Packers, who really don't have a number one receiver. I know the Packers defense is good, Jair Alexander and them, but I just trust the Lions a little bit more. Now, I think they will probably split with the Lions, but I'm just going the Lions right now. I just trust Jared Goff more than I do Jordan Love. If you had to take who I take right now, I'd probably lean Jared Goff. Like I said, again, Jared Goff has been pretty good. This season, especially even last year, he was good when they made it to the NFC Championship game. Next up, we got the Rams 3-4 against Seahawks 4-4. I went back and forth originally. I was like, because Puka Nacua is healthy now. I think Cooper Kupp is healthy back. Seahawks have been up and down. Geno Smith, DK Metcalf. But, I'm going to change my pick. I had Seahawks, so I'm going to go Rams. I'm going to go Rams slightly over the Seahawks. I just don't trust the Seahawks' consistency. I think with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua healthy, I think the Rams can get the win over Seattle. And lastly, we got the Colts 4-4 against the Vikings 5-2. This will be a Sunday night game. I'm going to go with the Vikings, like I said, clearly with the Colts benching Anthony Richardson, starting Joe Flacco. I think, this could be a good game because Joe Flacco has looked pretty good in the couple starts he's had since Anthony Richardson's been out. The Vikings coming off, 2 straight losses after starting 5-0. I know that got to be frustrating. But I think they'll bounce. This is a perfect game for them to bounce back, get the ball to Justin Jefferson, get the ball to Jordan Addison, third-year player out of USC. The defense has looked pretty solid for the most part, besides the last 2 games that they played. But I think this will be a game the Vikings can bounce back, get back into that race for the NFC North. But I got the Vikings over the Colts. And then lastly, got the Buccaneers 4-4 against the Chiefs 7-0. Monday Night Football, I'm going Chiefs. Even though I'm a Chargers fan, I can't stand Kansas City. It's just they just can't find some way to win. It's Patrick Mahomes. You can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. He's the best player in the league. He's the best quarterback in the league. Andy Reid's the best coach in the league. And it's like, no, even with all the injuries they got a receiver, Rashid Rice is out for the year. They barely can run the ball. They got injuries at running back. They had to sign Kareem Hunt. Now they just traded for DeAndre Hopkins a couple days ago. So they got him. They got Travis Kelce. Especially with even though the DeAndre Hopkins is not the same as he was, I think he still got enough in the tank to play really good ball, especially with Patrick Mahomes. This is gonna be the best quarterback I think DeAndre Watkins has ever played with. DeAndre Hopkins has ever played with. So, yeah, I just can't bet against the Chiefs, even though I can't stand them. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in. That's today what I want to talk about today's episode. Like I said, my Lakers looking good. AD playing very, very elite. Week 10 of college football season. Ohio State versus Penn State. Oregon versus Michigan. Florida versus Georgia. And my NFL Week 10 predictions. So yeah, y'all. I definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in for another episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to my Instagram. I'm changing my name, so it's probably gonna be something like Cam_Lindsay24, something like that. But also follow my podcast page on Instagram, at Cameron Sports Podcast, and make sure to click that subscribe button as I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. But yeah, I'll catch y'all next time for another episode of Cameron Sports Podcast. I'm your host here, Cameron Lindsay, signing out. I'll catch y'all next time.